Infrastructure is absolutely vital to economic growth. I sailed here with my wife from Europe to the port of Cartagena. We saw for ourselves what a lifeline that port is for the local and national economy. And investment in ports, airports, roads, just about everything you can think of is going to be the biggest driver you can imagine for the future of Colombia. 9% is the return that you get each year as a contribution to GDP for every billion spent on infrastructure. This single word predicts more than anything else the future. It's about how many people live in each particular area, what their age is. That is what creates pressure for infrastructure, especially when people move. Now, when we look at the demographics of Colombia and compare it with European nations like Italy, we see a dramatic difference. Behind me, you can see that Colombia has a young population, very few people over the age of 60. Italy is a dying nation in comparison, with huge numbers of people who are no longer working. So Colombia has this fantastic energy from the age of its population. But there's another critical factor here, which is wage cost. In Colombia, it's around $4,000 a year. In Mexico, it's $20,000 a year, but in the United States, it's about $63,000 a year. If we can get infrastructure right, so the products can get onto a ship, or the digital services can be transmitted through online world, then you will see tremendous growth. Things can happen very quickly without having to spend too much money. Around 25% of Colombia is not connected at the moment, and the typical way of thinking about it is to roll out long cables. But the trouble is, especially in the current political situation, you only need to be a 19-year-old guy with a knife and you cut a cable. And you can cut it 2 or 3 times over 1,000 kilometers. It could take weeks to find where the damage is and to replace it. There is another option, which is ultra low cost, can be installed almost instantly, and connects entire communities. Satellite, things like Elon Musk's Starlink program. You can put a device which costs $300 on the roof of a school and provide a network for the whole village for almost nothing. In fact, it would pay for itself just with the revenue from one internet cafe. There are many complex issues with all of these projects to do with specifications and dealing with corruption and compliance, regulation, and so on. AI can help with many of these, and I'm going to give you some examples. But before I do, here is the truth. Making a single image using AI costs as much energy as powering up my mobile phone overnight. What it means is that digital already uses 4% of global power, but by 2040, we will see another 4% of global power just to use AI. Because of that, Microsoft is buying nuclear power stations just to deliver the kind of power that AI needs. This is the extraordinary growth we are seeing. Tomorrow's AI will be maybe 1 billion times more powerful than today. So how does that play out for infrastructure? Let me give you one example from medicine. Here is a guy called Noland who was paralyzed from the neck down. His brain is now connected into AI. He can control his environment directly by thinking alone. This is an extraordinary advance. Last week, I was talking to 1,000 surgeons about using AI in the operating theater. Already, 1 in 5 operations in my country is AI linked. It's a robot driven. By 2035, it will be 95% of all operations. What if we take the surgeon away and allow AI to control the whole operation? Yes, this will start to happen in the next 5 years. So let's apply this now to infrastructure. We will see AI assisting in working out demand, business case, optimization, We will see AI used to build better designs, to create cost calculations, to analyze the bids, quality control. Every aspect of infrastructure will be affected. Now, here are some practical examples in the area of roads. So roads are absolutely huge. Roads are the fastest single way to produce growth in a country like Colombia, I believe. And of course, we have the 4G program. Here is an AI tool. AI being used for tunneling, and it's complicated, but it uses bots to scope the ground, to inject, to drill, and to create the tunnel. Huge cost savings. We are seeing AI for maintaining roads. You just put a camera on the front of the government vehicles, and it reports back to AI if there's a problem, and then the AI can decide who goes out. We've seen AI in rail. It's the same, using cameras. Huge investment in rail. You put cameras on the front of the trains, and they're always monitoring the track 24 hours a day. It saves human beings from being killed on the track, and it also saves a lot of money. AI in ports. One of the great problems of ports is the speed of paperwork, just the bureaucracy for customs. In 2100, most of global trade will still be through ports like Cartagena. And sea trade benefits countries hugely. If you have a port in a country, you have 40% more growth than if you have no port. So it's really huge. If you save 1 week of shipping time, you increase trade by 25%. Can we do this? Yes, AI can help. One way is to get rid of all the paperwork and streamline it. And then, of course, there's smart cities. We can see smart cities technology being used to design the entire concept. Behind me, you see a video that was created as an image of a new city entirely by AI. We can use AI to create an entire specification for a hospital in minutes. Everything, down to the number of meters of cable, of pipe, of wire, how it will be built, in what status, and so on, and the cost of every single piece. We can use AI not only to specify, but also to scan, using robotics, again, cameras, to compare what is being built with the architect's plan on the AI. So we can use AI as well for health and safety, using cameras. Already this is happening. It saves many accidents. We can use AI to manage wastewater in response to rainfall. We can use AI to increase the efficiency of recycling, getting up to 95% of material back into the system. Here is a huge area for using AI. It's power. And of course, that's to do with demand forecasting, smart grids, but AI itself creates a demand for power. Now, this country has fantastic resources for power. We could see 8 times the power from water, from smaller hydro and larger hydro than today, and that would require a huge investment. But there's alternatives. Wind, of course, we have huge resources of wind in the north, but the problem is getting the power to the cities. But the big one, really, I believe, is going to be solar, because of the collapse of solar prices, as you can see, and we are going to see huge multiplication of the installations on hotels, factories, schools, everywhere. We will see solar power grow 30% every year in this country over the next 5 to 10 years. In the EU, already 50% of power is solar, and this will continue to grow fast. It's happening so quickly that when it's sunny and windy, we are giving power away. We are actually paying people to take power, to turn on their machines, and with the amount we're paying them is 2 or 3 times the amount they usually pay us. It's a sign of the future, and it's all linked to smart grids and to smart meters. Already, 1 billion homes in the world have a smart meter, which means They can receive power or transmit power and regulate all kinds of things. And I'm going to give 2 examples today of ways in which governments can change small policies to install a massive amount of additional power at 0 cost. So the lesson is this: huge opportunities for AI, so long as we keep the applications simple and don't make huge investments into things which are not proven. But take care. Cybersecurity is a major risk for infrastructure